So you get instant access to that relationship they have, right? But that doesn't necessarily always mean there's going to be great results, but you really are set up for success immediately by being able to leverage their celebrity, their relationship.
Hey guys, we have Travis Hawley with me. He is the VP of Business Development at Viral Nation and also formerly the social media influencer marketing lead at Machine Zone, a maker of top grossing mobile app games. He's also a former US Air Force veteran. So he's also a creator of Instagram pages like Laugh and Inspire, Jiu-Jitsu Saved My Life, Introverts Are Us, and he also has worked with influencer campaigns that has Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mariah Carey, and Conor McGregor. So I'm so excited to have Travis on the show.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. And yeah, I've been very fortunate to be involved in a lot of really, really fun and interesting stuff the last few years. And however I can help people by, detailing my experiences is wonderful.
Yeah. And predominantly how I distribute this video is through LinkedIn. And the first thing I want to talk about is that you had the most viral video on LinkedIn where you rapped, and the CEO of LinkedIn actually commented, and it became viral in the LinkedIn office. So tell us the story of your LinkedIn rap video.
Wow, that's quite the story. So, I have been creating on LinkedIn for, I don't know, well over a year as well. Before video, of course, I was writing articles. That was really the main source of content for people on LinkedIn at that time. Not even too many pictures and whatnot. So as I was, seeing some success, becoming somewhat of a creator on the platform, video launched, a few months or so after that. And of course, anyone in marketing knew that would be a very big deal. The attention span and the quality of attention you get by creating videos is unparalleled. So after a few, I don't know, maybe a couple months or something, I don't remember how long it was, I decided, I was seeing a lot of, LinkedIn creators all doing the same shit. And sadly, I actually think that's still happening now, but I thought, how can I stand out? What can I do to really celebrate the platform, really do something fun and creative on this platform that others would potentially never think of? And I thought, maybe I'll do something with music. I'll do something fun and quirky or whatever. But so the way it came together was, believe it or not, when I was younger, I actually used to rap just for fun. It wasn't like serious. I just did it with my friends and with my brother. And so I guess you could say I have some experience writing rap songs or producing rap songs, whatever. And I haven't done that in 10 years, though. That hasn't been something I've done since I was like 19 or 20. But I thought, that could be interesting to do some sort of like rap song about LinkedIn. But then I thought, to me, that's actually somewhat stereotypical. It's not special enough. So I thought, okay, how can we develop this to be taken seriously? So I wanted to balance something that's fun, but also taken seriously. I didn't want it to be some parody or some just really goofy thing. I wanted it to be consumed as like true art in some ways. So I decided to start working with my brother again. He's actually sitting next to me. His name's Dustin, and he's a music producer. And I thought, okay, let's just bounce ideas off each other. Let's figure out a way to make a rap song not so rappy, because whether we like it or not, rap will still always kind of have this stigma of maybe being vulgar or being gangsta or whatever it is, right? So I said, how can I tone it down somewhat? So I figured, how about I do somewhat of like a love song? So there's plenty of hip hop out there that involves singing and love ballads and things like that. So I thought that might be the way to strike a balance where if it's rap, you could turn off some people, especially a platform like LinkedIn that still has a very older demographic, 30, 40, 50, 60. I want them to enjoy the product as well. And I knew that probably would be very difficult if it was rap, right? So I decided, okay, let's do like a hip hop love song because it'll be more widely consumed, more widely appreciated. So I said, okay, how about I personify LinkedIn as a love interest of mine? So that, I'm developing the story in my head. And I said, okay, let's have LinkedIn be my old love interest from years ago that never flourished into anything. And then now, years later, it's actually rekindling itself, which is somewhat true because, I started LinkedIn when I got out of the Air Force around maybe 2011. And obviously back then it was just a resume platform, recruiter platform. So it's changed a lot. So basically, I worked with my brother to write the song. He produced all the music, wrote most of the lyrics, and I would say, let's do this, let's do that. Kind of had just some executive producer of it, and he made the beat from scratch because we didn't want to reuse anyone's music. We didn't want to parody another song or spoof another song. We wanted this to be 100% authentic and a unique piece of art. So it just so happened too that Valentine's Day was approaching, so it's kind of a rush to get it done in time without sacrificing quality. And I thought, what better day to release a love song to LinkedIn on LinkedIn than Valentine's Day? Fortunately, my brother's best friend is a videographer and music producer as well. His name's Adam, and so we flew down Adam. He's in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. We flew him down to the Bay Area here in California. We really had no script, no plan. We just said, let's just wing it. Let's just go to San Francisco. Let's just shoot videos. We had the song being produced that week too. So I don't know what day it was. Maybe it was like a Wednesday or something. We went to the studio in San Jose where our engineer Don, he's a music engineer. He's had a relationship with both Dustin and Adam for like over a decade. So we had a very prominent and renowned engineer involved in this as well. We went to the real studio. This wasn't done in the home. Not that you can't do it in the home. We went to the studio, did a real studio session for 12 hours. We're in there having some drinks, having fun to the best of our ability. I haven't rapped in 10 years, so I was doing so many takes because it was tough. Also because my brother influenced the writing of it. So the way he sings in his head when he's writing it is different than how I would sing it. So we had to figure out how to get all of that on point, which was tough. So it took many, many hours to write this song, as you guys know, and to produce it and record it. As you can tell, for anyone who's heard this song, like it's legit. You could hear this on the radio. I'm not saying I belong on the radio, but what I'm saying is it's a true quality produced song. So we recorded the song, and then the next day or the following day, we went up to San Francisco. And literally, like I said, no plan. We just said, let's bring the cameras. Let's go in front of the LinkedIn headquarters, or it's the main office in San Francisco. Headquarters is in Sunnyvale, but let's walk around San Francisco. Let's make it very Silicon Valley because that's where we're from, and that's where LinkedIn's from. So what better place to shoot the video, right? So yeah, we just had a few drinks and just walked around San Francisco, shot the video in front of in front of LinkedIn Building 2, which was a little bit sketchy because I wanted this to be a surprise. I didn't tell anyone about this project. Like, no one knew about it. I wanted it to be 100% secret because I didn't want to seem like it was pandering, or I wanted attention from it more than just the product would get itself. So we didn't tell LinkedIn. We didn't have permission from LinkedIn. No one was involved. This was completely just conceptualized by myself and executed by me, Dustin, Adam, and Don, period. So yeah, man, we shot the video. It was super fun, especially after a few drinks. It was exceptionally fun. You know, believe it or not, I've got more comfortable on camera, but I'm not like a natural in front of camera person. And I certainly am not one to start rapping around the streets of San Francisco. Like, that isn't me. So it was tough, man, to just really, I mean, the whole project is really involves stepping out of your comfort zone. But I thought, you know, what a great time to do that. And yeah, man, that's a lot of the story. So yeah, you have any questions so far? There's more.
Sounds like the most high quality produced LinkedIn video I've ever heard. My further question is that how did you build the engagement? Because I heard that you rapped about Goldie Chan, which is a LinkedIn influencer. And you also wrote the wave of a hashtag, which was at the time, I think, In It Together. I don't remember.
Yeah. So the engagement really had nothing to do with any particular person. So I think what a lot of people on LinkedIn talk about too is community. So the many months leading up to this project, I have been collaborating with other LinkedIn creators and other people who are getting in video too and developing those relationships. We're all engaging with each other's content and whatnot. So having that community is what really helped spark this. There's two sides to this, right? There's two ways that struck fire to get the initial algorithmic engagement going so it could be spread like wildfire and get in front of the right people. Actually, there might be three elements. First, unbeknownst to a lot of LinkedIn employees, I was connecting with them and engaging with them too. They didn't know I was going to drop this product, but I developed a relationship with a lot of LinkedIn employees prior to this. I developed a relationship with a lot of the other LinkedIn content creators before this, like probably well over a dozen of the more prominent or outgoing LinkedIn creators. And then the third piece was I could leverage my company, Viral Nation. They all supported the project because we're Viral Nation. That's the name of our company. So like if I'm doing a project in hopes of going viral, what better way to involve my company and have them engage with the content too? We're like 30, 40 employees. So like that's a lot of people to initially like a post as well. So all those kind of elements help really get the spark going on content so that the algorithm is fired up. But other than that, there's no other hacks or anything. I actually didn't really ride the momentum of the In It Together hashtag. I mean, I don't know how many people are clicking the hashtag anyways. So I don't know how much that helped. However, I think topically, what really set it apart is the fact that I named the song In It Together. I put that in the hook of the song, the chorus, right? I involved that LinkedIn campaign, their marketing campaign. I involved that in the actual lyrics of the song. So there was many, 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 many layers to this. So I didn't know this would go viral, but I had a very high degree of confidence that it would, not out of some ego thing, but out of all of the preparation that I put into place and my team helped me put into place here. Everything was aligned for success. So if it could go viral, it would. I knew that much. From how we developed the song, the lyrics, the quality, the timing, the In It Together campaign, the community we had around it, my team, everything was aligned for success, and it happened to work out that way. But you know what? You got to be humble too and understand that maybe on any other day, it just wouldn't have popped off, and you don't know exactly why. But we know how to go viral. We know how to make quality content, and that's all we do. So that's what we did, and whatever happens, happens. And it just so happened to work out extremely well. And yeah, the CEO even commented, LinkedIn corporate commented, tons of LinkedIn employees reached out. So it was, I mean, in my career, it was one of the best nights of my life, which is Valentine's Day, because literally my phone was like broken. Like the amount of notifications and texts and emails like blew up. It was like blowing up to a celebrity overnight. Not that I did, honestly, thankfully, but it was really, really, really fun to see everyone enjoy it.
How many views as of today?
I think 400 something thousand. I don't know.
Yeah, 400,000. Amazing.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know, and I don't really care. Maybe there's videos with more views or something. Who knows? But in terms of like virality of something that's like really topical and like a creative project, I think this has got to be up there at one of the most popular, and couldn't have done it with everyone else who helped out too.
Great story, Travis. Great story. I really loved that video. You've been creating regularly content on LinkedIn, and it's been very informational, very insightful, and very practical. So tell us, like, what's the ROI of creating regular LinkedIn content? Did it help you get new clients, or did it help you get new opportunities or speaking engagements? How did LinkedIn help you?
Truthfully, I would say it's changed my life. That's why I even made this LinkedIn video, the music video, because I truly believe in LinkedIn like no other platform. I really have went all in on it just out of a leap of faith, because I knew even before everyone else hopped on in the last year or so, I knew that that's where the business people are, right? And we're running a marketing agency here. I need to get in front of those people. The ROI is truthfully for me unbelievable, and for Viral Nation unbelievable. But I don't want to say it's going to be like that for everyone. And the reason for that is there's many factors. You can't just create content and think you're going to get speaking engagements or get business. Your content honestly might not be that good. You may not have the self-awareness or have people around you tell you your content's not good. So the content needs to be good, whether that's informative or entertaining or some hybrid of the two. The content needs to be good, right? So making content for the sake of making content doesn't mean anything. Now, a lot of people say, well, just get started and you'll learn from there. That's true. Just get started. But you need to produce great content if you want ROI. And that's not just a LinkedIn thing. That's just a business thing. That's a marketing thing. So the ROI has been incredible. We've brought in a lot of business from LinkedIn, and we've got a lot of speaking engagements. And I say we because I like to talk on behalf of Viral Nation, because I'm doing this for my agency. I don't really use LinkedIn for so much personal branding, what a lot of people talk about. Hey, if personal branding comes out of it at the same time, that's fine. But for me, I'm doing it for business. I'm doing it to inform people, to, like you said, my content, I believe, is more informative than necessarily entertaining. I try to throw in some entertaining factors there, so it's not dry. But for me, I've seen that there's a gap. There is a void of what I think is truly quality content. There's a lot of people who want to, show their day and vlog their day and talk about the same topics over and over and over. For me, I want to be more tactical and like giving people stuff they can act on, whether it's new features on a platform or strategies and things like that. So for me, I believe, for what I do when we're running a marketing agency, that's the kind of content I needed to make so people can trust me as a marketer, not as a personal brand specialist, which everyone thinks they are, or a social media guru. There's a lot of that bullshit out there, and that's not what I want to be perceived as. So for me, it was go tactical with information. People will understand that you know what you're talking about, and then the ROI will come out of it. So yes, without any specific figures, I would say it's possible. Let's just say hypothetically, it's possible if you produce great content, you could bring in millions of dollars in a very short period of time through LinkedIn content.
Great stuff. That's my aim with this show as well, to give tactical advice and tactical knowledge to my audience. I've seen on Instagram that you did a commercial with Conor McGregor, and it's pretty big here in Asia. We love fighting. Do you have any stories when it comes to working with celebrities? Like you've worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mariah Carey, and so on. Any stories
Yeah.
when it comes to celebrities?
I think so. The two celebrities I was most involved with was Conor McGregor and Rob Gronkowski, who's a future Hall of Fame tight end for the New England Patriots. Those are the two I was most involved with, physically speaking, because we went to the commercial shoots, were involved in the creative process. The Conor McGregor one was probably my favorite one. That's because I'm a huge fight fan, and I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu myself. I'm a purple belt. I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for many years. So MMA is my favorite sport. So at the time, when we did the campaign with Conor McGregor, at the time I had recently started working at Machine Zone, which is a mobile game developer in Palo Alto. And a colleague at the time, her name's Heather, she was really big into fighting too. She's really big into, WWE, big into sports. So her and I kind of bonded on that sports level. And, we were doing influencer marketing at the time before it was popular. And we, we're very fortunate to be able to work with celebrities too. We had the budget, we had the buy-in from management and things like that. So we said, hey, how about we do something to Conor McGregor? At the time, he was about to fight Jose Aldo for the belt. Conor McGregor was ascending really quick. He was nothing who he was today, though. So we got him at a very good time, I would say, because he was rising and he was about to fight for the belt. So he certainly had plenty of attention around him, but he was not this superstar that he is today. So that was strategic on our part to leverage an influencer, a celebrity, it doesn't matter what it is, an athlete on their way up before they plateau or before they hit a threshold of they're almost too expensive and they may not have as much ROI. So yeah, Heather and I, we wrote all the commercials. We did many commercials with Conor, little snippets that are like 15, 20 seconds for social media. We did the commercial where I'm fighting him in the ring. We did a lot of different stuff. So me and Heather wrote all those. We flew to Vegas. We went to Randy Couture's gym in Vegas. And really, I wasn't supposed to be in the commercial. Like I was an employee of Machine Zone. I wasn't supposed to be in it, but an opportunity arose where they needed like another actor or whatever. And they're like, they knew I was training jiu-jitsu at the time. They're like, dude, get in there and fight or pretend to fight Conor. And obviously I was really nervous. I wasn't even in great shape at that time either. So I was like, oh man, I'm not trying to look all fat on camera or whatever. But, I was like, oh shit, I have to do this. How could I not? So working with Conor was great back then. I don't know how different he is now in person, that he's very famous and rich. But back then he was super humble. Fairly quiet. So it was cool to work with him. Anything we asked him to do, he did it. He was really good, memorizing lines and things like that. I mean, he's not an actor. He has this character he uses for his own marketing purposes, but he's not an actor. So it's not like he was this perfect actor on camera, but that's not why we leverage him. We leverage his personality and his goofiness and his funniness too. So, hopped in the ring. That commercial aired on, like Fox Sports and like ESPN. It aired everywhere. So I'm very, very fortunate and happy that I was involved with that. I think the only bad thing that happened, and here's some advice for people trying to leverage MMA fighters in marketing or even actually athletes in general. Jose Aldo ended up getting injured before that fight. So unfortunately that pushed back a lot of our marketing efforts. So we weren't able to get as much ROI or as much use of all the different things we did with Conor McGregor because of that fight got delayed like 6 months or something like that. So that's a risk you need to understand if you're going to work with athletes, that they could be injured and it could affect your campaign in some way. So when we worked with Rob Gronkowski, we had already learned that lesson from Conor, and we knew Rob Gronkowski had knee injuries and things like that previously. So we built in some securities and insurance policies into the contracting and stuff too. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing that was really great that I got to do with these celebrities like Conor, Mariah Carey, Rob Gronkowski, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is I got to manage their social media as well.
Whoa.
They actually gave us the ability to manage their social media, and I was the only person doing it. I created all the social media posts for Conor McGregor, Rob Gronkowski, Mariah Carey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and even some for Kate Upton. So that was really cool too, to actually create content and post content on the behalf of a celebrity and athlete. So that was just amazing.
That's a great story. It's like the best thing that ever happened to a marketer, that you doing your job, being a marketing person, that you get to work with your idol, like the biggest fighter at that time. What campaign did you have with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
So we leveraged him for a mobile game called Mobile Strike. Okay, so he appeared in multiple commercials of ours, like high production commercials, including the Super Bowl commercial. So we did a Super Bowl commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger for the mobile game Mobile Strike. So yes, I also managed his social media along with his social media guy. So I made all the social media posts for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And another really cool thing about that is during the Super Bowl, once the commercial was airing on the Super Bowl, then I was to make a social media post. We didn't want to put the Super Bowl commercial out until it aired on TV. So I'm literally like at a bar, right, with my friends, like drinking and eating. I have my phone. I'm logged into Arnold Schwarzenegger's Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, right? And I'm waiting. I'm not drinking really because I want to be clear-minded and all this stuff, right? This is a big deal. And as soon as the Arnold Schwarzenegger commercial aired on the Super Bowl, then I went and made all the posts in the bar on my phone. I posted on Schwarzenegger's social media the commercial across all of his channels. So that was really cool and high anxiety though. You can't screw that up. You can't screw up a post about the Super Bowl. You can't screw up a post on Arnold Schwarzenegger's social media. But I didn't, and it went well. But the smarter thing would have been to stay home or whatever and post it. But I was like, screw it. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. If anything did happen, I could fix it instantly, and it went well. So yeah, we leveraged Arnold Schwarzenegger for another mobile game and even for a Super Bowl commercial.
So I have to ask you, like, what are the results when you use a celebrity to promote a game? What are the tangible results that you get out of Conor McGregor or Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah,
so I mean, one of the main values of leveraging a celebrity, an athlete, an influencer is that you get immediate access to their audience, who's already they trust them, they trust this person, they really have some sort of bond with them, even if it's digital. There's a lot of fandom there, so you get instant access to that relationship they have. Right? But that doesn't necessarily always mean there's going to be great results, but you really are set up for success immediately by being able to leverage their celebrity, their relationship, right? Especially someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's been a celebrity for decades. So there's when you're leveraging a celebrity, an influencer for a mobile game, there's a couple different things you get out of it. One is when you do social media posts, like for example, like I did on all of their channels, you make a social media post and then you have a direct response campaign objective there, where it's download the game now. So a lot of the posts I made with Arnold Schwarzenegger was download Mobile Strike now. That has a video, has a really cool creative. Download now and come play with me, play against me, because Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually put into the game of Mobile Strike. So the ROI there can be, or really the objective there is to get installs, get people playing the game, get them excited to play the game through Arnold Schwarzenegger in that case, or Conor McGregor. It doesn't matter who it is, Rob Gronkowski. So installs is, of course, a main objective of mobile app developers. They want the acquisition, a lot of times performance, direct response marketers. But another thing that we see that happens is what we call the halo effect. Just like sometimes you see it on TV. The halo effect, the best way to explain it is, for example, consumers may see Arnold Schwarzenegger's, ads somewhere for Mobile Strike, or Conor McGregor's for a Game of War on TV in one of our commercials. Or they may see the post from Conor McGregor, or they might see an ad from any of these celebrities, but they don't take action at that time. Maybe they can't. Maybe they're unwilling. They're not convinced yet. But what we see is then at the time of these posts, or at the time of these commercials, or in a limited time following that, we see that other user acquisition channels and campaigns actually they get a bump. They have a performance bump. And that's attributed to the halo effect. That's, consumers might see the creative from a celebrity, an athlete, an influencer, may not take action then, but then when they see another ad in a short period of time, then they do take action because they've been exposed to the game in another compelling way first. So there's many ways a celebrity, influencer, athlete can really help any kind of marketing campaign. It doesn't even have to be a mobile app. So, user acquisition directly, or it can influence user acquisition on other channels. And then also what we see is we tend to get a lot of quality users by using influencers, athletes, or celebrities too. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool stuff. You mentioned using the influencers and athletes in advertising. I have personally worked with influencers as well, and I tend to use them as content. So what is your practical advice when using influencers to create content?
Yeah, so at Viral Nation, we actually use influencers for many different things: content creation, distribution, events, there's many different ways you can partner with influencers. The content piece is a big one. A lot of times there are influencers who might be more accurately described as just content creators, right? And that's what I try to tell people, as you said, as well, as like, why are influencers so influential, or why do they have audiences? Well, because they create great content, or they aggregate or curate great content. That's where it begins. You cannot develop an audience digitally unless you have great content. So that's the main piece that should be included in any kind of partnership with influencers is, okay, how do we create great content? First and foremost. But second is distribution. Then it's, do you want to distribute it on the brand's owned channels or brand's pay channels? Or do you want to distribute it from the influencer directly? Or do you want to do all three? So distribution comes second. First of all, we got to focus on the great content too. So that's what we do as well, is find the influencers who are going to make the right kind of content to resonate with whatever target audience you're looking to reach. So the great thing is nowadays there's so many influencers, so many content creators. Like, you can definitely find someone that can create content that will be well suited to advertise your product or service. And then distribution, that's the next step. You can think of that at the same time, but ultimately it's the content. Just like I said on LinkedIn, content. Unfortunately, I think I have a disagreement with how some other people do content, which is, this whole thing that comes from an unnamed agency owner is document, don't create. I don't know. I'm not saying don't do that. But the problem is it's not enough information. Documenting for the sake of documenting, to me, is completely useless. If you're documenting something that's not valuable, then what's the point, right? So you need to create content that's valuable to people, right? And some people may want to follow your journey, but for me, I don't think that's always the best decision. I think you need to create content that's very compelling, whether you're an influencer, celebrity, or someone who's creating on LinkedIn. Create content that has actual long-term value, not just showing your life for the sake of showing your life.
That's great practical advice. And when it comes to influencers, do you advise a marketer or a client? There are a lot of influencer marketing campaigns, for example, that work with Conor McGregor for one time. But is it better to have an ongoing or a long-term relationship with an influencer?
So there's very much there's a lot of ways to approach that question. It's tough. I don't always have an answer. A lot of people ask me that same question. Here's ideally what's best.
Yeah.
Long-term partnerships, right? They're the most authentic. They come off to the audience as less advertising because it's seen more as like a long-term endorsement like athletes do with, say, Nike, right? And Colin Kaepernick or whatever, which is another, that's a discussion for another time. But endorsements and long-term partnerships are more authentic. They build more equity for both the influencer celebrity and the brand. But here's kind of the complication there. We're emerging into a time of performance marketing and tracking and valuing everything, right? So more sophisticated marketers are like, no, I want to dip my toes in before I commit to someone, right? Especially like very mobile first brands, for example, like mobile app developers. They want to be very sure that there's going to be long-term value in an influencer or celebrity before they work with them. So what they tend to do is a lot of the one-off posts, right? It's testing. They want to test the waters before they go all in, and I can't really blame them. So I find myself really in this dichotomy of thinking of, yeah, you should always try to be a long-term ambassador, and there should be a real relationship there. And unfortunately, in practice, that's not always the case or easy to do. Because on the other side of the coin, I'm like, no, you should definitely test before you invest millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars into someone. You should test whether or not their audience is going to be responsive to that partnership, which involves a specific product or service, right? So it's kind of, you got to find the middle ground, and each brand is going to have their own ideology on it. So I try not to push mine on them. I just show them the pros and cons of each ideology there, whether it's long-term or testing short-term. But I feel like a lot of times you can find the middle ground, like in anything, and it's okay. Maybe we don't go all in long-term, but we don't go too short-term where you can get mixed results. So I'll give you an example. What if you make one post and it's an absolute hit? Then you say, cool, let's go hard and let's go long term. That's also not a good decision, because you could have one massive hit and then for some reason it dies out and then the performance dies out and you don't know why right after that one hit. And then likewise, you could make one post with an influencer and it's complete shit and you don't know why, and you say, okay, let's not do this partnership. It clearly doesn't work. And that may not be the case. The way you approach that post might have been absolute shit. You may have had a bad creative, bad copy, bad timing, bad something. And so that's why you need to gather more data. So it's a balance of gathering enough data to make a good decision. So maybe the middle ground is where you could try, so you lock in an influencer celebrity with multiple posts, but maybe not months of posts, maybe a month of posts. And that's where you can get enough, where you minimize your risk as a brand, but get enough data to really understand whether or not this is effective or not.
Yeah, cool stuff. That's a great practical advice, and I've been through most of it, and I can say that it's very true. You are also a creator of Instagram pages like Jiu-Jitsu Saved My Life. Two questions in this. So how did you grow these pages, and what ROI do you get out of them?
So actually that's how I got into marketing in general. I did not have a marketing background. As you know, I was in the Air Force, where I did intelligence and language translation. So I actually got into what we call these meme pages or theme pages. I was just doing that for fun. That's honestly a whole nother story of how I got a job at Machine Zone, but I just do these for fun. So to me, the ROI is just fulfillment. I'm not trying to make money off them at all. Like, I'm happy making money through Viral Nation, where we're doing this at scale for big brands. I don't use my pages to make money for myself. I am not looking to make $1 off of any of those pages I run. For me, the reason why I run them is because they're so personal to me. So Jiu-Jitsu Saved My Life is obviously a very powerful name of an account anyways, because jiu-jitsu is a very big part of my life when I'm not working so hard that I can't make it there. But so it's passionate. It's passion for me. Laugh and Inspire is the same thing. I love being funny, being goofy, and posting hilarious memes, and I like inspirational content as well. So it's personal to me. And then Introverts Are Us is as well. A lot of people don't seem to believe it, but I am very much an introvert, and I've built an introvert community, as far as I know, the biggest one on social media, and that's really personal to me because being an introvert is very personal to other people. So the ROI for me is just connecting with other people and building communities around things I enjoy and other people enjoy, and sharing those experiences through content. That's all that matters to me. I don't want to make $1 off them. And I really haven't. I don't really respond to anyone who reaches out for me to promote things. I promote one product on Jiu Jitsu Save My Life from a brand that pays me nothing. I just love their work. And it's more like an endorsement where I rep their gear because I actually enjoy it, and they don't pay me a dime and I don't ask for a dime. That's kind of how I operate my own pages.
Great stuff. It's truly a practitioner that gets to be good at their craft. You talk a lot about intelligence and gathering data, and I've seen some of your content. You have screenshots of social listening tools. So can you tell us what tools do you use, and how did social listening help in influencer marketing?
Yeah, so social listening is still, I think, a very unpopular mechanism for tracking all sorts of metrics across the internet, including social media. I didn't know what it was either until I started at Machine Zone, again, where I don't know how I came in contact, but I came in contact with a social listening company named Talkwalker. And Talkwalker, we did the whole demo, and I wanted to see how I could use Talkwalker to better track my influencer efforts, social media efforts at Machine Zone. So I went through the demo, and I was like, this is crazy. I didn't even know there was a tool that could track mentions of any keyword you could imagine across the internet globally. So instantly I was like, this is powerful, and we need to try this. So the great thing about a social listening tool is it doesn't just track social media. It tracks the internet, blogs and articles, whatever, websites, forums, whatever kind of media digitally you could think of. They basically track all of it. It ingests into its system basically everything on the internet that's public. And then you can visualize that data, illustrate that data into like really meaningful ways that you could actually be actionable on that. So that's why I really love social listening tools like Talkwalker, because what happens is you may be tracking your campaign metrics, say on Instagram or something. Okay, we got this many views and this many engagements, this, that, and the other. But that doesn't tell the whole story, right? How did the content spread? How did it or did it not go viral? How did it spread from channel to channel? You can visualize that with a social listening tool like Talkwalker, which is the one I still work with. How can we see that a campaign spread across articles and through media? Let's say like the Colin Kaepernick thing right now with Nike. You could see how many press outlets are mentioning it, and you can truly get a better grasp at the full story of whatever media or whatever story that's going on out there through social listening. So it really puts your like tracking capabilities on steroids, and that's why I really love it, because as a marketer, like, we need to find ways to measure everything we're doing. So it's another vessel for measuring what's going on either in your own campaigns or maybe a competitor's, right? Or just another brand you're interested in, or just another news story, fake news, Trump, whatever it is, NAFTA, doesn't matter. You can track anything with social listening. So it's just incredible. And I'm a really big evangelist for social listening, because I still feel like most people don't know about it and how powerful it is. So I've been working with Talkwalker to visualize things we do at my agency or other news stories, showing people, look, if you're not using social listening, you're not a complete marketer yet, because you're not using a tool that is honestly incredibly valuable and becoming more and more necessary to do your job.
Cool stuff. I think social listening is very important, even when it comes to creating a content strategy or an influencer strategy. So this goes to my next question. We going to wrap this up soon, which is you talked about getting Talk Walker out. So what do you see the future of LinkedIn influencers? Like, could we promote a B2B product in the future with LinkedIn influencers? Is there a future like this?
Yeah, I think it's actually inevitable.
Yeah.
Here's the reason why. If you have a platform, which is LinkedIn, if you have content creators, which is us, and you grow an audience, done. That's it. Those are the ingredients you need for influencer marketing in general. Most of it's being done on B2C through agencies like Viral Nation, or now we're starting to see little by little it's going to happen on the B2B sector thanks to LinkedIn, right? It's going to be it's moving fast, but it's still relatively slow when compared to B2C, because still there's a lot of there's a lot of fear or uncomfortability for people being in front of camera on a B2B platform, because, I'm also representing my job or my company. So people are just slowly getting into it. But there's a lot of creators out there now who are building audiences and building trust through content, just like I have been through my video series, just as you are through this video series. So inevitably, if you grow enough audience, you get enough engagement and people really trusting what you're posting, then absolutely there's going to be more and more influencer marketing on this platform or any other platform, because you got the trust, you got the audience, you got the platform, you got the engagement. Now you just need the brand to come in and promote a product in front of your audience, just as I like doing with Talkwalker, because it's very applicable to my audience, which is 90% marketers. So marketers are going to want to use Talkwalker, for instance, or I think they should, because I've used it in practice and shown results. So that's the way it should be done, though. The thing I fear is, like some other influencers on other platforms, is people will just be sellouts and just promote anything to promote anything. So I really hope that doesn't happen. Some people are going to do that because they're just in it for the money or whatever. But I really think B2B influencer marketing is going to be that next evolution of influencer marketing in general. Right now, influencer marketing is very widespread and adopted, which is great. And people say, oh, what's the feature of influencer marketing? First of all, no one knows, and anyone making predictions is running off limited data, including myself, especially on the B2C side. But what's inevitable, if you ask me, is that it will happen on the B2B side.
Thanks, Travis, and I truly enjoyed all your content. And that was my last question. Actually, my last question was what was the future? Anyway, you answered it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
You knew where it was heading. So thanks, Travis. I ran ahead of time. Thanks for doing this. I really love your content. Continue doing what you're doing, and I hope I can put it out soon. And all the best in Viral Nation.
Thanks so much, Bob. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.